curious, playful, serious, flexible, quick-witted. These all bring to mind characteristics of personality, the thing that hopefully helps make each one of us uniquely ourselves. So, what role does personality play in our work lives, where we need to fit in and work well as members of a team made up of tens, hundreds, or thousands of other individuals? What is this thing called personality anyway? Believe it or not even the academics who study personality can actually agree on what they think it is. So in the absence of a unified theory on personality, we have about a handful of different theories. This handful of different theories informs a mountain of different personality tests and assessments, none of which are actually conclusive because they're all just based on theories of which no one can yet agree on exactly what personality is. Now, just because people can't agree on what personality actually is, does that mean there's little to no value in us actually engaging with personality assessments and taking the time to learn about our personality? Absolutely not. If we consider the scientific discipline of physics, there's tons of different theories out there on how our natural world works. Simply because there's all these different conflicting theories doesn't mean that there isn't a set of fundamental truths that we can use to do amazing things like send people to the moon and things into outer space and engineer buildings that don't fall down and all kinds of wonderful things. Understanding your personality is very important for your best fit. It can tell you a lot about yourself. And it can certainly tell you a lot about where you're likely to best match up with occupations in the world of work. One thing that's important to understand from a career development standpoint is that some of these personality theories see personality as being quite fluid, while others see it being rather immutable. In other words, very fixed and rigid. And in my career development work with people, I tend to lean toward personality assessments that consider personality more fluid than fixed. I've decided to lean in that direction just because it's absolutely consistent with what I observe in the world and with what I observe in my own life. Now, certainly, there's going to be some core elements of personality that remain relatively consistent, but most personality theories have had to account for the fact that over time, people can get different results from taking their personality assessments. Some personality assessments are what's known as a Class B psychological instrument, meaning that your emotional state can actually influence the result of the assessment. People change over time, and I think that's really a good thing, because if you and I have things in our personality that we want to either enhance or to mitigate, we can actually do that. So why am I telling you all of this? Because I want you to understand that the idea of a personality test being like a blood test, that's simply not true. So for our purposes here, let me give you the definition of personality that I use in my career development practice. Sorry, so what's that really mean from a career development standpoint? Quite simply, it all revolves around your preferences, which includes how you prefer to learn and how you prefer to work. Think of your preferences as expressions of your personality. You can also have preferences at different levels of achievement. You can have some preferences that are very aspirational and idealistic, and knowing full well that you're probably highly unlikely to experience them as you idealize them. But then there's going to be another level of preference that you are absolutely committed to show up in your work life. So you see, it's going to be important to understand these when you're looking at specific jobs and you're looking at specific organizations. And it's important for you to be really clear on the difference between your aspirational preferences and those that are just non-negotiable. Now, let me say, in my experience, different organizations are going to present opportunities for different combinations of preferences to be acceptable for you. It's all in the mix, and each organization is going to present an opportunity for a very unique mix of the work environment and other things that you prefer to experience. Now, in my ebook, I provide a structure to help people organize their work preferences. What I've found is that people can benefit greatly from the guidance that a simple structure can provide. It helps them understand where to place their focus. And that can help you better prepare for using this information to actually interview organizations to see how their work environment would line up with your preferences. So in my structure, there's 5 areas of preference. Let's quickly go through them. Culture is made up of the commonly held beliefs, values, aspirations, conversations, and behaviors that are preferred within the organization. Culture is values-based, so like all values, you really understand it by looking at what people and organizations do. In that sense, think of culture as a library of how those preferences commonly get expressed in ways that are approved of and sought after by the organization. Nature of the work deals with the content of the work. It also deals with your ability to control or influence how you do the work. Your schedule, workload, pacing of the work, and today's favorite topic, can some of the work be performed remotely and at what frequency? Nature of the work basically deals with the design of the job. The physical work environment, this is where you perform your work. It's also where you live in relationship to where you work. Think of it as all that physical space brings to your experience of work. Relationship preferences deal with your desires for how you want to be treated by others, as well as how you want to treat others. When defining your relationship preferences, think about the behaviors you'd like to experience, both your behaviors as well as the behaviors you'd like to see from others. And then think about what sort of things you could put in place in those relationships to bring about those aspirations. Lastly, we have working style preferences. Examples of these can be, are you a person who prefers to work independently, or do you prefer team-oriented interactions? If it's a mix of both, what's the right mix for you? These are the sorts of things that deal with working style. Now, all of us have more than one working style, and a lot of our stylistic preferences can be shaped by the environment that we're in. So a good, healthy working environment is going to probably bring forward your more healthy-oriented working styles, whereas a toxic environment is going to do the opposite of that. Now, if you want to shortcut the process of understanding how your personality and preferences affect your vocational choices, you can take an assessment. The best assessment that I've found is the Strong Interest Inventory. I'm actually certified to deliver that assessment, and you can find a link in the description below that'll give you more information on that. One of the things that I think is absolutely great about the Strong Assessment is that it takes your personality, your interests, and your preferences and maps all three of those things together onto the world of work. And it references occupations within the U.S. government's ONET database, just like in my ebook, so it fits seamlessly into my approach for your best fit. Well, this is a wrap for today's video. I want to thank you very much for investing your time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.